What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So I will be making schedule predictions for every single Power 5 team in college football this upcoming season. And I will also do a subsequent conference standings video once I finish up every team in a specific conference, just as a synopsis of all of my schedule predictions. And those videos will be coming out, later towards August as we get closer to the start of the season. Got to get through all these individual ones first before I make the synopsis ones. So I've got a lot of content that's going to be coming your way soon, so be on the lookout for that. Anyway, though, let's go ahead and get into this NC State schedule prediction video. And just some quick thoughts on the NC State program overall heading into 2022. This is a team that has garnered some national attention and hype in recent years, and their upset of Clemson last season has only heightened that. They have a very, very good roster. I love the coaching staff. I love how this team plays. They bring a real intensity and edge to every single week, and that's great to see. You can tell just how well coached and disciplined they are as a team when you see them play like that. However, their roster just isn't quite at the level of a Clemson at this point, and I don't think anybody expects it to be. What they don't quite have in talent, they like to make up for in experience and great coaching. I expect a very strong season from NC State next season, or this upcoming season. And while it might not be quite good enough to win the ACC, they're definitely going to be in the conversation for that when it's all said and done. So let's go ahead and look at some games that aren't really worth talking about because the opponents just don't have a chance of winning, barring something catastrophic. And those games are East Carolina, Charleston Southern, and UConn. None of those three teams stand much of a chance in this one. So the first game we're going to talk about is in Week 3 against Texas Tech. Texas Tech's a decent team. They're not nearly as good as NC State. NC State's at home. It's really their first true test, if you will, but I don't think it's much of a test. I think NC State's probably going to win by 3 scores or more. But it'll be good to get, some Power 5 level competition under your belt before you start to break out into conference play a couple weeks later. And so, I think NC State gets a solid win here, but definitely one that'll be interesting to watch and not one that you can just toss up as a guaranteed win, but it's pretty close to. And then they play, they go at Clemson to play them, and they have UConn in between Texas Tech and Clemson. So that'll be a nice buffer kind of almost bye week, if you will, against UConn to give you almost an extra week of prep for the Clemson game. But I do think that it also kind of hurts them in the fact that they aren't going to be very well tested when they go at Clemson. That'll be their first real test of the season, and I don't think they're going to be able to pass that one. I think Clemson is still a better roster. I think Clemson's going to be very well coached again, and with them being at home, NC State being pretty much untested at this point, I don't see them coming out on this one. Now, they could very well go in there and beat Clemson. They beat Clemson at home last year, and I think NC State's going to be even better this year, but I also think Clemson's going to be much better this year as well. So it'll be a very interesting game to watch. There's a lot of teams this year that I think have a very good shot at Clemson if they really want to go for it, but I still think Clemson's going to come out on top in this one. Next game up is Florida State at home, and this one is one where I have Florida State getting an upset win. And it is an upset win because Florida State is not as good as NC State. NC State is also at home. By all means, NC State should probably win this game. But when looking at Florida State's schedule, I think they're going to get an upset somewhere along there. And I don't know why, but I just kind of think it's going to be NC State. I know it's not great reasoning for a prediction video, but I just kind of have a feeling that Florida State might get the win there. And it's a game, again, NC State should very well win. And Florida State is a good enough team to win those kind of games, though. Florida State has enough talent to give them a run. And you could see a little bit of a letdown mode, I think, from NC State after the big loss to Clemson, because that's going to be one they have circled for weeks, because their first 4 games aren't very much of they're just not very tough. They're not very much of a test. And you circle that Clemson game, you go in there, you fight hard, you come up a little bit short. I think you can have a little bit of a letdown mode heading into Florida State. I think Florida State has a good shot in that one. Though I have them getting the upset, but again, it is an upset pick. NC State could very well win that game. And then they go at Syracuse. This one I think they get back on track. I think they go in there, they're probably going to blow out Syracuse. Syracuse just isn't very good. NC State is very good. I don't see Syracuse having much of a chance in that one. Then they get a bye week, and then they play Virginia Tech on a Thursday night. The ACC has a lot of these weird Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday kind of games. This is just one of them. Now, they get Virginia Tech at home, which I think is huge because going at Virginia Tech is a very tough road environment. They're better than Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a good team. I think they're around that Florida State level. But NC State is better. They are a better team. They're at home. I have NC State getting a win here pretty solidly. Yeah, I think NC State going to just be just enough better to where even if things don't quite go perfectly for them, on a Thursday, kind of a weird game. They're coming off of a bye week, though. I think they come out on top, no problem here. And then you have what I think is really the big turning point game of the season for NC State, where you determine how good the season's going to be. Is it going to be a decent season, or is it going to be a very good season? And that is the Wake Forest game. And I am very high on Wake Forest heading into next season. I'm probably higher than most, but I think Wake Forest is going to be very, very good. Wake Forest has a very good offense in particular. And I do think that NC State gets the win here, and I think playing on Thursday the week prior actually helps them here. They get a little bit of extra rest and prep heading into this one that Wake won't get. And they're at home, and that is also a huge advantage being at home in this game. So I do have Wake fighting very hard, putting up a good bit of points. I just think NC State comes out on top, gets a big win here, and I think it really helps to boost them towards the end of the season there to finish strong and end out a very strong season. Their next game up is at home against Boston College. Boston College just isn't as good as NC State. They're good enough to give them some trouble. There's not a game that you're just going to walk in there and win, but I do think NC State wins that game, probably 2 or 3 scores. Boston College, again, decent team, not as good as NC State, though. Then they go at Louisville, and this one is another really interesting one to me. I'm pretty high on Louisville as well. Louisville is not as good as NC State. But being on the road could be a tough matchup, should be something to keep an eye on. I still think NC State goes in there and proves they're the better team, gets a strong win there towards the end of the season to, again, help push to finish off the season strong. I think that Wake game is really going to boost them through here. And then they end the year at North Carolina, and this is the one that is going to be a very hard-fought game, very close. I think North Carolina and NC State are very similar teams as far as how good they're going to be. I have them in that same 9 to 10 win range. But I think NC State is better. And I'm going to give NC State the win here. It could, again, go either way. Like most of these games, it's going to be a very hard-fought one. It's going to be very close. But I think NC State is just the better team here. And I think they get a big win against North Carolina to cap off their season. And so that makes NC State 10-2. And in my opinion, the fan base should be absolutely thrilled with that. 10-win seasons don't just grow on trees. And honestly, the NC State program has not been a consistent 9 to 10 win level program. That's just not what they are in years past. So this should be celebrated and hopefully is indicative of a new level of consistency at that high level of the sport there in that 9 to 10 win range. Now, they could also end up losing games like UNC, but I think they're going to come out on top there. I think they could also, they could also lose to Wake. I don't think so. It's another one where I think they come out on top, but they could lose to UNC or Wake, and you could see them 8-4 kind of range, but they could also very easily beat Florida State, who I have them losing to. And so I think, if anything, anywhere in that 9 to 10 win range for NC State makes a lot of sense. Maybe even in the 11 win range, but I think that's just if things go nearly perfect, and that rarely happens for anybody. So I'm going to stick with 10-2. I think that is a very, very good season for NC State, and one that I think they can very much pull off. They don't have to have things go perfect to get there. They can pull off 10-2 even if things don't quite go their way. Anyway, though, that'll do it for this one. Let me know down below in the comment section where you agree and or disagree with me on the NC State schedule in 2022. Tell me what record you think that they're going to have next year and who, if anybody, they're going to lose to. Also, if you've made it this far in the video, be sure to go ahead and leave a like on the video because it does help out tremendously. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying this content. And subscribe to the channel for more college football content in the future. Like I said, I'm going to have a video for every single Power 5 team. Going to have those conference videos. I've already got the entire SEC done. I'm about halfway through the ACC. So look out for those and look out for much more coming soon. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.